Mr. Khan, my name is Akanksha Jha. I'm from Indian School of Public Policy, and my question is around the SDGs. You mentioned that it plays a key role. However, given that SDGs just provide a framework, for the goal to be achieved without having a strong reporting system around it, how do you suggest that us as policy practitioners work our way around it, make sure that we're able to achieve that goal in the coming years?
Yeah, it's a framework, but no other country provides you the model to do it, the size and scale to do it. I mean, we've done about, in the last 6 years, we've done 3 crore houses. That's like building an entire Canada. We provided 8.1 crore water connection through the Jal Jeevan mission. That's like providing water connection to the entire Brazil. We've done 50,000 kilometers of roads. That's like providing road through entire Europe. Entire Europe is we've connected by roads. We don't understand in India, we don't understand the size and scale of the dimension of what we've done. So when we talk about 48.6 billion digital transaction, that's 7x of what US, Europe, and UK have done. And 3x of what China has done in digital payments. Sitting in India, we don't realize what we have achieved in the last 6-7 years in terms of the sheer size and scale of the transformation. What are these? This is all achieving SDG goals. You're providing housing, you're providing water, you're providing access of roads, you're providing digital transactions and to be able to leapfrog. This is SDGs. That's the model which India has built up. None of these countries have been able to do it, what India has done.
Lots of opportunity to have impact. Okay, let's take the last question.
Okay. Sir, I am Adrish, a policy scholar. Sir, nearly more than 2 decades ago, India achieved double-digit GDP figures. Now we are having a visionary Prime Minister, Sthir Sarkar. What is stopping India INC from reinvesting heavily to achieve double-digit GDP once again?
No, again, important question. See, India has grown at high rates. India has grown at 8 to 9% for 5 to 6 years in the past. But it's important to understand that you're in a globalized world. In a globalized world, if there are challenges of global debt, if there are challenges of global inflation, if there is a challenge of the Fed raising rates across, it has huge implication on a country like India. And therefore, if the global supply chains are impacted and you're not able to get input into products which you're going to export, then you're going to get impacted. So when the world was growing at high rates, and you must understand this, that when USA and Europe and when China were growing, global debt was rising. So you could grow on the back of debt. There was global supply chains were growing and expanding in a very big way. And climate change was they could grow by polluting the world. When India's chance to grow has begun, we are just at the beginning of that process. Global debt is getting sucked out. Export supply chains and global supply chains are broken. And you are being forced to be the first country in the world to industrialize without carbonizing. So these are the challenges. But irrespective of the challenges, we should treat these challenges as an opportunity. We should accelerate the pace of our reforms. We should urbanize in a sustainable manner. We should bring in greater efficiency into our competitive efficiency into our manufacturing, become a top-class producer, and our private sector should be the world champion, and we should provide even greater impetus to our startup movement. We should have the ambition, as the Prime Minister said, that we'll transform India in one generation. So that should be our ambition.
My name is Vartika Tomar. I'm a scholar at the Indian School of Public Policy, and I take pride in the fact that our institution is absolutely gender sensitive. But my question to you today is that we took pride in the fact that the women participation in the grassroots level is great, right? You just said that women in India have a great participation at grassroots level. But there's also a concept called Sarpanch Pati, which is very, very prominent in the Indian villages, and it's so internalized that we can't even deny the fact. And we also know that in urban area, you just said that describe participation, right? So this is where I define participation. When a woman is just tokenistic and she doesn't have the right to take decisions despite being the face of it, I feel that she is not being, she's not empowered. Whereas on the other hand, the self-help groups, they're doing brilliant because that's a group of women who are participating. Whereas when an individual woman is given a position of leadership, she's not accepted. And that's happening at the grassroots level. So how can we say that at the grassroots level, the participation of women is brilliant?
I think, Vartika, you cannot deny the fact that these women have stepped up wanting to participate. Yeah. And not everybody has a sarpanchpati. Because once you taint them all with that single brush, you taint their intent, you taint their contribution, and you taint their capacity. One of the best ways to disavow a woman's right to be a leader at the grassroots is to say, अरे इसको कुछ नहीं आता, इसके पति ने करना है, यही तो प्रथा है. So first start celebrating those women who do not have a sarpanch pati. The second issue is, you're right when you say that what is participation? Participation is when women have an equal right to be a part of the decision-making process. Statistics will show that the last NSSO survey has shown that women's participation in decision-making process in families has increased. But how is that participation, like I said, defined? For instance, many conversations have evolved around, if a woman is financially empowered, then domestic violence against women ebbs, which is not true. If you look at data, it will suggest to you that irrespective of a paycheck, urban Indian women are as much domestically abused, beaten by their husbands, in fact, more so than rural India. So that whole conversation that if you're educated, you're not beating your wife, just falls flat on the face. But does that mean that every urban man is beating every urban Indian housewife? No. Similarly, every female panch or sarpanch does not have a sarpanch pati.
So my name is Arya, and I'm also a scholar at Indian School of Public Policy. And my question is that, of course, government is doing a lot for women in terms of DBT. We also have people in our batch who are working for the projects of understanding the DBT transfers that are happening for women. But I want to understand, what is the government doing for digital literacy? How are they addressing that for women?
Okay, so there is a program that started called PM Disha under the Ministry of IT, wherein digital literacy was proposed for citizens irrespective of gender. Close to 4 crore citizens, especially in the rural belt, have now become digitally literate, and 58% of it are women. This is an ongoing program. You are, in fact, it's a lovely happenstance that the gentleman seated right before you, Mr. Dilip Chinoy, happens to be an expert in that kind of skill sets and ensuring that it's administratively implemented.
Hi everyone, you went to PAFI. So, how will you summarize your experience?
Always grateful to Indian School of Public Policy because of the institution I went to biggest conference in my life, and I had chance to meet so many people.
First time I am attending such kind of big event where we got to know about the new draft telecommunication bill and also during the first session Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, sir, he actually just informed about what other things are there in that particular bill. We also got the opportunity to hear from Madam Smriti Irani, who is the cabinet minister in the union government.
PAFI experience was wonderful. I met Mr. Anup Singh. He's working in the Ministry of External Affairs as an Under Secretary. That was a very good experience for me. I met a lot of people who are working in the foreign sector domain. and as well as the external affairs of the country. It was a wonderful experience to meet such people in short span of time, as well as to gain knowledge from them.
For me, it was a very holistic experience. So it was the first time that I was in public domain conference, and I met a lot of people who were there, very relevant people. I was able to hear a lot of views on a lot of hot topics that were there in public policy, and it was a great platform as a scholar to go and network with a lot of people we are going to work with. Thank you.
And I had a very good experience. I learned a lot, and I would recommend everyone to attend such types of conferences, because we, the youth, have to be the future leaders. So we have to listen the current leaders and learn from them. Thank you.
Key learning for each one of you from PAFI.
Okay, that would be always study your key area before talking to anyone else. That's the best advice that anyone can give you, and that is the advice that I received from PAFI.
For me, the best thing was that you got to know a lot about what's going on in the policy space in a very short period of time, and that was very good coming from the best experience.
And for me, to never make any assumptions about any issue, because we got to meet, policy expert domains and get raw insights from them on various issues.
One key learning which I recommended, which I failed at the PAFI event, is like we have to think on the perspective of government itself. Like we always think from the stakeholders perspective, but from the government and systematic perspective, there are a lot of impedances in the system itself. So rectifying that impedances should be the priority for future policy practitioners. Thank you.
How was your experience with the PAFI conference?
I'm glad you asked that, because I absolutely loved it. This is the first time I went to such a big setting, I would say. And it was immense learning, the kind of people we met, the kind of insights that I got, and you know me, right? I'm very much keen about the healthcare department and that sector, and the sessions were absolutely great. I was able to talk to so many great people of policy. I was really in awe of the answer, the way he put forward the stats. It was absolutely brilliant.
Let's thanks ISPP.
Yeah, we definitely should.